What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Let's Get Wild podcast. Today we are going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of the mosh pit. Before we get that far, though, please remember to drop down, hit that like button, subscribe, so you never miss any of my videos. Anyways, so the do's and don'ts of the mosh pit. In all honesty, if I'm being entirely serious, it kind of is aggravating that I even have to make this video, or this podcast. I keep calling it a video, man. It's aggravating to even make this because, like, it should really be common respect and common courtesy. You wouldn't do anything in a mosh pit that you wouldn't want done to you. And if you do something, because I get it, things happen, accidents happen. If you do something, just apologize. 9 out of 10 times, it's not going to be an issue. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a mosh pit and smacked heads with people or caught an elbow or something. But the difference is they're all, it was all on accident. Wasn't being on purpose. I've seen mosh pits where I refused to get in because, people were just throwing their arms and legs and stuff around, and that's kind of one of those things where if I get hit and it wasn't just an accident, you're purposely just flailing your arms and shit, I'm probably gonna get a little aggravated, and yeah, we'll probably have some issues. But that's only happened a couple of times that I've seen. For the most part, man, mosh pits are fun and they're respectful, and they're a way to really just meet new people and get people that have the same music interest as you, and I don't know, it's just a really fun thing. But anyway, so that was kind of I guess essentially that was a little taste of what we're going to be talking about. So let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing we're going to be talking about is the do's. All right, when you are in a mosh pit, especially if you've never been on one before, it can be kind of an intimidating thing. And I get it. I mean, you got however many people running into each other and stuff. You see people go flying and stuff like that, so it can kind of be an intimidating thing. But I can promise you, again, 9 out of 10 times, you have absolutely nothing to worry about. When you get into a mosh pit, you just gotta be aware of everything around you. Be aware of what's going on. Make sure you're going with the pit. You know what I mean? If it's just everybody's just running into each other kind of pit, then that's one thing. But if it's kind of a circle pit, make sure you're moving with it. Because when you stop or when you don't is when you can go get launched and go flying. Another thing to do, like I kind of touched on earlier, is just be respectful. If you knock somebody down, help them up. That's one thing, man. All the mosh pits I've been in, I've only been in one pit that I saw people not do that. And it's when you knock somebody down or somebody goes to the ground, everybody just stops and they try to get that person picked up as quick as possible. And that's the way it should be, prevent injuries. It's funny, I was in that mosh pit one time where it literally turned into one-on-one wrestling matches. It was pretty much just the first person to go to the ground loses. And I was at a bit of an advantage because I wrestled for quite a long time, so I didn't lose any. But that was a lot of fun, a lot more, and again, respectful as can be, shaking hands, high-fiving, and that was on gravel. So I mean, if you can be respectful when you're getting cut up by gravel, then there's no reason anybody can't be respectful. But anyways, another thing you want to make sure you do is, if you are someone that is on the edge of a mosh pit, it's kind of standing in the circle around it, be aware of where you're at, and if you're getting moshed into, people getting launched into you, don't get all pissy, because you're the one standing on the edge of the pit. You know, they're not just going to change where their pit location is just for you. I mean, seriously, like, I cannot describe how much that aggravates me. I've seen it so many times. Been in a mosh pit and just, like, get launched into somebody, and they get all pissy because they got their, like, because they got their wife there with them that's, like, 5 foot tall and, like, 40 pounds. Like, which, by the way, means absolutely nothing, because some of the best moshers I've ever seen are actually the tiny ones that get in there and just, like, don't care. They kill it. But my point is, like, if you are gonna be pissed off that you're getting run into, then, like, move. Like, it's not that hard. Move up a little bit. Talk to the people in front of you. Be like, hey, excuse me, we're kind of getting, like, ran over by the mosh pit back here. Do you care if we squeeze through? Again, 9 out of 10 times, not going to be a problem. So, that's something to keep in mind, too. Now, obviously, this is going to transition us right into the don'ts of the mosh pit. The don'ts. Do not, like, and this is the biggest thing, do not be an asshole. Like, that's the biggest thing. Because, like, and what I mean by that is, like, if you see people just having a good time, don't be that guy that gets in there and runs around throwing the elbows and stuff like that. Because that's how people get really, really hurt. And that's how these concerts can end up getting a bad rep, you know? Because so-and-so got a serious concussion because old Johnny Dillweed over here decided to run through and start throwing some Anderson Silva, or not Anderson Silva, John Jones spinning elbows, you know. That's just one of those things that's, like, shouldn't even be said that you shouldn't do, but sad that you have to, because there's some real winners out there. So, you know, another thing that you should avoid doing is, like, alright, this is kind of circumstantial, you know. If you know that you have a really, really short temper, a mosh pit is not something you should be in, because accidents do happen. You are going to catch a hard shoulder check. You're going to catch an elbow. You're going to catch something. You're going to get sent flying. That's just the nature of it, you know. That's just what a mosh pit is. Things happen, you know. You have, especially when you have a 20-foot circle with about 50 people in there flying all across, you know. Again, 9 out of 10 times the guy who hits you with an elbow probably is not intentionally doing that. Mosh pits are some of the most respectful places I've ever been in. I mean, seriously, more friendly people in a pit where you are purposely launching each other than Walmart down the road, you know? And that's the truth, man. That is the absolute truth. I've met so many good people that I still am in contact with today in mosh pits and stuff. It's crazy. It's a really fun time, and it's a way to just have even more fun with the music. Another don't. This is an obvious one, right? But there is a video on YouTube. They were in a wall of death, right? And for anybody that doesn't know what a wall of death is, it's where the guy, the lead singer, or whoever, we usually call for it, and they'll be like, they want to see it split, kind of like the Red Sea, you know. And so let's say I want to see it split. So everybody will pick a middle point, pretty much. It's usually in the middle of the stage wherever the singer's at. And then everybody will just start backing up to the sides. So you have this big open just gap in the middle. And it's usually before a breakdown. And then they'll get into it, and you'll hear the blah. And then everybody just charges forward and just meets in the middle. It's just this wall. Just this impenetrable wall of bodies. And everybody just runs into each other. And it's one of the most fun things. I mean, the first ever Wall of Death I was in was I Prevail. And I believe it was Gasoline. It might not have been Gasoline. It might have been Come and Get It. To be honest, I don't really remember very well. I mean, because it was a Wall of Death, you know. I remember that. And it was actually really funny because I ended up running into people I ended up smacking into was people that I actually went to high school with. I went to frag out. Actually, people I went to high school with, and we were at a festival like 4 hours away, and so we ended up hanging out for the last little bit of that night, smoking blunts and shit. But yeah, it's regardless, you know. Anyway, I just completely got off track there. A mosh pit or a wall of death, any of them. Do not bring a baby. Now, I know that sounds goofy, but there is a video on YouTube of a lady running full blown in a wall of death with one of them little satchel things on her front that has her kid in it. Like, do you know how not smart of an idea that is? Like, if something happens to that baby, you're going to jail. Like, straight up. And it's nobody's fault but your own. Because you should not have that baby in there. Mosh pits are not a place for kids. Period. It's just not. It is a place for grown adults that don't get pissed easily. They want to have a good time. Now, when you get into like the heavier music, then your mosh pits get a little nuts. Like Kablu Khan, I think is how to pronounce their band name. Saw them at Warped Tour, and their mosh pit, if you can even call it that, was not even, I mean, it wasn't even like a mosh pit. It was probably about 10 to 12 people in there, literally just flailing every limb of their body in every direction. And like, I mean, they were all doing it, so I guess at that point it's alright, because you're all consenting to, if you catch a right hook to the back of the head, that you're not going to be pissed. But yeah, that's just the way, that's just like, looking at that pit was like, man, somebody's going to get hurt, you know. Nobody did though, and I was really surprised. I was too busy pushing my way up front to even want to go in that pit anyway, because I ended up being very front stage for Chelsea Grin, which was absolutely awesome, killer group. But anyways, guys, yeah, that's pretty much our do's and don'ts of the mosh pit. And just remember, have a good time, be respectful and courteous of other people, and you guys will have no problems. You'll have a lot of fun. You'll meet a lot of new people, maybe even friends that you will continue to be friends with for years and years and years. So, but anyways, guys, have fun and just kind of stick to those basic rules. I think everything will be all right. So, deuces.